يقول راجي عفو رب سامعي محمد بن الجزري الشافعي الحمد لله وصلى الله على نبيه ومصطفاه محمد وآله وصحبه ومقرئ القرآن مع محبه وبعد إن هذه مقدمة فيما على قارئه أن يعلمه إذ واجب عليهم محتم قبل الشروع أولا أن يعلموا مخارج الحروف والصفات ليلفظوا بأفصاح اللغات محرر التجويد والمواقف وما الذي رسم في المصاحف.
الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وعملا متقبلا يا أرحم الراحمين. Oh Allah, teach us what benefit us, increase us in knowledge, in good morals and in good deeds, Ya Arham Ar-Rahim. We continue by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessings in this 21st lecture from explaining Al-Jazariyya, منظومة المقدمة فيما يجب على قارئ القرآن أن يعلمه من نظم إمام الحفاظ وحجة القراء محمد بن علي بن يوسف ibn Al-Jazariyya rahimahullah ta'ala. We can close that door. And we start at verse 13. Verse 13. What does Imam Ibn Jazari say rahimahullah? وَالْوَسْطُ فَجِيمُ الشِّينُ يَا وَالضَّادُ مِنْ حَافَتِهِ إِذْ وَلِيًّا وَالْوَسْطُ فَجِيمُ الشِّينُ يَا وَالضَّادُ مِنْ حَافَتِهِ إِذْ وَلِيًّا. We're done with وَالْوَسْطُ فَجِيمُ الشِّينُ يَا. We stopped at the ya. We still have some more examples. Then we're going to move to the most important letter in the Arabic language, which is the D'aad. Many Arabs, they make mistakes in this letter rather than non-Arabs. There's also, of course, non-Arabs even more. But even some Arabs, they make mistake in this letter. حرف الضاد تميزت به اللغة العربية. It only exists in the Arabic language. And this is why they say لسان الضاد, means the language of the D'aad, right? لسان الضاد, the language of the D'aad. And we will see how it's very serious and how some people change. Okay, we will see how it's very serious that when you change the D'aad into Va, as many people do, into Va or into Za or into Da or into La, all these sounds, the scholars mentioned, and they made special and they wrote special lines of poetry too and prose to make people aware of this mistake. So let's finish up the ya, then we will move to this letter inshallah, the D'aad. And from the previous course we talked about the D'aad in details when we talked about istitala. So you have a full video, 1 hour video on YouTube already in the playlist Al-Jazariyya Made Easy. There are 2 playlists. There is Al-Jazariyya Made Easy, the new course, which is this one, in which we're not skipping anyone, alhamdulillah, we're uploading one by one. So now this is class number 21. And the old course, we have different classes. Not everything is uploaded, and not everything uploaded is necessarily in order. But Makhraj of D'aad, you find it there. And if you go to the Arabic classes playlist, also you found that class on the D'aad. So this will be another class inshallah, and hopefully we will not need to make a third one inshallah. So verse 13 says what? وَالْوَسْطُ فَجِيمُ الشِّينُ يَا وَالضَّادُ مِنْ حَافَتِهِ إِذْ وَلِيًّا. وَالْوَسْطُ means what? وَالْوَسْطُ means what? Middle of what? Of the tongue. وَالْوَسْطُ, from the middle of the tongue we have what? فَجِيمُ الشِّينُ يَا. Jim and Sheen and Ya. And we explained in details how every letter is produced and what makes the sheen different from the jim, different from the ya. وَالْوَسْطُ فَجِيمُ الشِّينُ يَا. So we are now finishing up the ya. We have some very important examples, and before we read the examples, let me remind you of the ya. As you can see in the picture, of the ya, the middle part of the tongue is raised towards what? Towards what? The roof of the mouth, right? Is it touching the roof? It's not touching, it's coming close. That's the ya. Ay, as I told you, if this is the roof of the mouth, here, and this is the tongue, so the ya is like this. Ay, right? Ay, that's the ya. And we said, what is the main point about the ya? Two things. As we mentioned, it's not enough to learn the makharij of the letters, right? You also have to learn what? The sifat of the letters. It's not enough to learn the makharij. If you just learn the makharij, well, jim and sheen and ya, they come from the same place, from the middle part of the tongue. So it's not enough. You have to know the detailed makharij, how exactly every letter is produced, and also to know the main sifat, the main attributes of every letter. For example, S and As, exactly from the same place they come. Exactly from the same place. S, As, as. What makes them different? So Sad is heavy, Sin is light. You see, so the sifa differentiates and makes the letter distinctive from another letter. S, As, from the same makhraj but different sifa. So it's not enough to know the makhraj, you have also to know the sifa. This is why Imam Al-Jazariyya started with makharij al-huruf, then next section will be what? Sifat al-huruf, the attributes of the letters. Okay. Now we are only learning the makharij, but as we said, you cannot learn the makhraj without learning the main sifat that will make the letter correct. And this is why what we're doing now with the makharij, we're mentioning the main sifat of every letter that makes this letter correct and distinctive or distinguished from other letters. As for the ya, what are the main attributes, do you think? What are the main attributes for the ya? Always remember there are two attributes, let's say. They're practical ones. You always have to keep them in mind. The first one is what? Tafkhim and tarqiq. Heaviness or lightness. Always, first thing about the letter, once you mention the makhraj, remember, is it heavy or light? Look at and at. From same place, but right away the main distinguishing attribute is heaviness. Ta is heavy, ta is light. Tamam? So always with every letter, remember the first thing when you're reading, practically when you're reading, this is what you need to remember. Is this letter heavy or light? This is very practical sifa. Okay? But when we come to a sifa like jahar, you don't have to remember, this letter is majhur. It doesn't have a direct effect. Okay? But hams, yes, hams means that the breath should be clear, should be pronounced, and should be let out with the letter, act. So that's practical direct sifa that you have to know for the letter. So first of all, the ya is light or heavy? Light, all the time, no exceptions. The ya is always light. Okay, what else about the ya we have to know? Is it mahmus? No, the hams letters are فَحَتَّهُ شَخْصٌ سَكَرٌ. It's not mahmus. Is it muqalqal? Qalqala? No, qalqala is qutbu jadin. So qalqala is one of the main attributes that is very practical. You have to know the qalqala letters. Hams, same thing. See? Tafkhim, same thing. Or isti'la. خُصَّ ضَغْطٍ قِضْ these are the heavy letters, in addition to the lam and the ra in certain cases. Hams letters, فحثه شخص سكت. قلقل letters, قطب جلي. These are, and shadid letters, أجد قطن بكت. Why you need to know the shadid? So that you know their opposite, which is the rikhu. So that you know the rikhu letters, their sound continues, the sound flows in them, in the rikhu letters, unlike the shadid letters. So these are the main attributes, guys. So for the ya, first of all, we said it's always light. Second thing is what? Is it mahmus? No. Muqalqal? No. Shadid? No. So it's rikhu. Rikhu means what? The sound flows. So the jarayan al-sawt, that is rakhawa. What is rakhawa? What is rakhawa? Jarayan al-sawt, the flowing of the sound. What is hams? Jarayan al-nafas. Jarayan al-nafas, the flowing of the breath. Big difference. The flowing of the breath is very different from the flowing of the sound. Maryam, sit next to Duha so that you can see clearly that. So the Jarayan al-Nafas, let's take the Ya, for example. When I say, if I say ay, is there breath with it? The breath is not flowing with it, so it's not mahmus. But is the sound flowing? Yes, ay, right? Same thing, gha, the ghayn, the sound is flowing, that's rakhawa, but no breath with it. On the other hand, look at the kha, akh. Is there breath with it? You see how the tissue is moving, that's the breath. So that's hams, the kha is mahmus. Now is the kha rikhu? Does the sound flow with it? It does. It's not part of ajid qatin bakat. So some letters, the sound and the breath together, they flow. Some letters only the sound, right? Some letters only the breath. At. What is flowing? Just the breath. Did you see? The sound is not flowing because it's shadid, ajid, qatin, bakat. It's shadid. And because it's shadid, the Arabs naturally they release the breath with it to make it clear. If you say tabbat yada, you don't make hams for the ta, it's not clear. Are you saying tabbat or tabbab? Well, it's not clear. But when you say tabbat, khalas, clear, it's ta. Got it? Okay. We explained this many times and we will repeat it again when we talk about sifat al-huruf. So the main two sifat in the ya is what? Are what? Light and what? Rikhu. Make the ya light and let its sound flow because it is a rikhu letter. That's it. And we also mentioned make number to the ya when it has shaddad. Ya and waw to make them clear. And we mentioned example بمصرخي بينة. You can add بينة. بينة. Okay. Someone read to me also today a word because she was not making the number. That word was not clear. What's that word? Can you remember? Okay, this is enough. These are enough examples. بينة بمصرخي. Okay. Now let's finish up the examples. Yalla. I'm gonna read. You repeat all together, and you focus on the ya. Inna waliyyi Allah. So when we talk about the ya that is rikhu, this means you should not cut its sound. So you don't say, as some people say, Iyyaka na'budu. He's cutting the sound of that ya. It's not إياك no. Let it flow like this. إياك. See? إياك نعبد. تمام يا شيخ. Clear? يلا. إن وليي الله. إن وليي الله. When you have more than one ya, you have to pay extra attention. وَإِذَا حُيِّيتُمْ. You see the two ya, you see the ya with shadda. You don't say وَإِذَا حُيِّيتُمْ حُيِّيتُمْ. See the number? وَإِذَا حُيِّيتُمْ شِيَعًا وتعيها لا شية فيها وهي تجري وإياكم ولم يعي بخلقهن قال أنا أحيي وأميت. أحيي like in Surah Al-Baqarah it will come. أحيي. You don't make it just one ya. It's two ya, not one ya. You don't say قال أنا أحيي. No, two ya. قال أنا أحيي وأميت. قال أنا أحيي. Say يا. Say يا. You. Ye. You have to make them two ya, not ye. قال أنا أحيي. قال أنا أحيي وأميت. وما هو بميت. لا يستحيي. It needs practice, huh? It's not لا يستحي. إن الله لا يستحي. لا يستحيي لا يستحيي. Okay? لا يستحيي من الحق. لا يستحيي من الحق. كان سيئه كان سيئ. كل ذلك كان سيئه عند ربك مكروها. كان سيئه Don't rush to the dhamma. Sayyu. No. Give the letter its right. Give the haraka its right. Then move. Sayyi'u. Kana sayyi'uhu. Okay. بالغداة والعشي. You see the number? Because there's shadda. You don't say بالغداة والعشي. والعشي is wrong. Because there's shadda. You have to show the shadda. You have to show that there is a shadda. بالغداة والعشي. And it's better to connect. بالغداة والعشي يدعون. بالغداة والعشي يريدون وجهه.
والعشي يريدون وجهه.
والعشي يريدون. والعشي يريدون.
والعشي يريدون.
فيستحيي منكم.
فيستحيي منكم.
Say it again.
فيستحيي منكم.
فيستحيي منكم.
فيستحيي منكم.
من خزي يومئذ.
من خزي يومئذ.
Okay. وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي.
وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي.
يعظكم. قيضنا. See the shadda? يلا yeah, put it in your pocket. Yeah, put it in your pocket. قيضنا. قيضنا لنحيي به بلدة ميتا. لنحيي به في بحر اللجي يغشاه موج. This is very important example, as you can see. Bahril, that's idgham without ghunna, right? Then you have lujjiyin yaghshahu, that's idgham with ghunna. And you have the jim has shadda there, so you have to show them clearly. في بحر اللجي. بحر اللجي في بحر اللجي يغشاه موج.
في بحر اللجي يغشاه موج.
And when you make the idgham with ghunna, as we mentioned, you make the ghunna only on the first ya, on the first letter. You don't say lujji no, just the first ya. Lujjiyya. Ya, yaghshahu. Ya, the ya doesn't have ghunna. So the ghunna only with the first ya. Lujjiyya. Tamam? في بحر اللجي يغشاه موج.
في بحر اللجي يغشاه موج.
Okay. وليتلطف. See, وليتلطف في الحياة الدنيا. Some people say في الحياة الدنيا. Yeah, that's not Hafs narration. You should not make imalish. Make a straight alif. في الحياة الدنيا.
في الحياة الدنيا.
Okay. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Look now at before we move to the new letter, comparison between the three letters, the Jim and the Sheen and the Ya. Tell me what you can see. What's the difference between the Jim and the Sheen and the Ya? As you can see, in the Jim, the middle part of the tongue is touching the roof of the mouth, particularly the hard palate. In the Sheen, it's not touching, but it's close. In the Ya, it is close, but less than in the Sheen. Can you see? Subhanallah. See how just little movement of the tongue changes the letter or the sound from one letter to another. Aj, ash, ay. Aj, ash, ay. Ay, ash, aj. So Jim touching, the Sheen is far, the Ya is further. Ya is far, Sheen is closer, Jim is even closer and even touching. Any questions so far? Any question? Who can tell me what's common between these three letters? There's a very common, very clear sifa that is common among all of them if you look at the picture. One of the main sifat. What is it? Look at the back part of the tongue. Is the tongue curved? Is the tongue curved like this? It's not curved. The back part of the tongue is up or down? It's down. So it means the letter is what? Light. Right? All of these letters are light. Look at them. Look at the back part of the tongue. In all of them it's down, it's not up. So all of these letters are light. Jim and Sheen and Ya. Any question before we move? Okay. Next line, which is still verse 13, but the second half. So the first half, وَالْوَسْطُ فَجِيمُ الشِّينُ يَا وَالضَّادُ مِنْ حَافَتِهِ إِذْ وَلِيَا لَضْرَاسَ مِنْ أَيْسَرَ أَوْ يُمْنَاهَا. So one line for the ضاد. Half of line 13 and half of line 14. What does Imam Ibn Jazariyya rahimahullah say? As you can see here in this picture. وَالضَّادُ مِنْ حَافَتِهِ إِذْ وَلِيَا لَضْرَاسَ مِنْ أَيْسَرَ أَوْ يُمْنَاهَا. That is the ضاد. وَالضَّادُ مِنْ حَافَتِهِ إِذْ وَلِيَا لَضْرَاسَ مِنْ أَيْسَرَ أَوْ يُمْنَاهَا. As you can see here in the picture, Shaykh Ayman put them in the red color. وَالضَّادُ مِنْ حَافَتِهِ إِذْ وَلِيَا. That's the second part of the verse 13. لَضْرَاسَ مِنْ أَيْسَرَ أَوْ يُمْنَاهَا. يلا وَالضَّادُ, clearly وَالضَّاد and the ضاد مِنْ حَافَتِهِ. What does حَافَتِهِ mean? حَافَتِهِ means what? We talked about the parts of the tongue, right? We talked about the parts of the tongue, right? Do you remember? And we said you have to learn them in Arabic and in English, right? What does حَافَتِهِ mean? Huh? Say the edge, right? The edge. Look here at this picture again. I'm reminding you, and I told you, you have to learn them very well in Arabic and in English. This is the tongue. This is the hafa. We said hafatul lisan. Hafatul lisan. The edge of the tongue. This is the edge. You can say the side, but we use that word. So this is the edge. And this is the other edge. This is the right edge, this is the left edge, right? So وَالضَّادُ مِنْ حَافَتِهِ, from its edge. The ضاد is from the edge of the tongue, right? From the edge of the tongue. مِنْ حَافَتِهِ, from its edge. That's literally, right, Ya Shaykh? From its edge. وَالضَّادُ مِنْ حَافَتِهِ. Now, as we mentioned, you can see in the picture, we said how many parts we have for the edge of the tongue? How many parts? We have the far edge, which is this part, and we have the near edge, right? Every part will be used for a different letter. Every part is used for a different letter. So, we mentioned this is أقصى الحافة. أقصى الحافة. أقصى الحافة, the far edge. This part of the edge of the tongue is the far edge. What about this part here? From here to here? أدنى الحافة. We're going to use it with the lam. واللام أدناها. واللام أدناها. From its near. أدناها. أدنى of what? أدنى of the حافة, of the edge. Means the near edge. لِمُنْتَهَاهَا, to its end. أَدْنَاهَا لِمُنْتَهَاهَا, from the near to the end of the edge. Means from this part. That's the lam. We will see. But now we're talking about what? The ضاد. He said, وَالضَّادُ مِنْ حَافَتِهِ. Where? Which part of the hafa? He told you in the second part. والضاد من حافته إذ ولي والضاد من حافته إذ ولي لضراسة. What does إذ ولي mean? He said إذ ولي with an alif. He said إذ ولي with an alif. What is that alif? Originally it is what? Originally it is waliya. But if you look at the verse, it is like this, waliya. Why he added an alif? What did we call this alif? Aliful itlaq. Aliful itlaq, right? Literally, alif means, itlaq means release. What does that mean? Literally, he released the fatha. Means what? He stretched the fatha. Why? For the rhythm. For the rhythm, to keep the rhythm of the verse. Clear? So he stretched the alif and released the alif to keep the rhythm of the verse. If he said وَالضَّادُ مِنْ حَافَتِهِ إِذْ وَلِيَ لَضْرَاسَ, then the rhythm is broken. And I gave you many examples on this, right? Even in this new course we give an example about this, right? وَالضَّادُ مِنْ حَافَتِهِ, from its edge. Which part of the edge? He said إِذْ وَلِيَ لَضْرَاسَ. لَضْرَاسَ means what? I know them. The molars.
Yeah, molars.
Right? The molars, the big teeth. Right? Ladras are the big teeth, the molars. So, إِذْ وَلِيَ لَضْرَاسَ. Before we explain why he said وَلِيَ لَضْرَاسَ, it is al-adrasa. It's al-adrasa. Why he said وَلِيَ لَضْرَاسَ. وَلِيَ لَضْرَاسَ. He did not say al-adrasa. Also for the rhythm. And that is one of the dialects of the Arabs. That's one of the dialects of the Arabs. For example, Warsh, he reads, for example, مِنَ السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ. He doesn't say وَالْأَرْض, he says وَالْأَرْض. وَالْأَرْض. Even until now, some dialects in some Arab countries, they say lahmar. And instead of al-ahmar, the red, they say lahmar, lakhdar, lasfar. Clear? So what do they do? I'm not going to mention this every time. I'm going to mention it, explain it the first time it comes, then you have to know it. So what does he do? The Arabs, this is in the Quran. This is one way of reading the Quran in some qira'at. Al-Ard, for example. Al-Ard. What is this Hamza? Wasl or Qata? Qata. Qata means we cannot drop it, right? Generally. Right?
Yeah.
But in this dialect, which is used in some qira'at, like Warsh, what do the Arabs do in that dialect? They drop the Hamza. And they move its haraka to the letter before it, to the second letter before it. So instead of al-ard, what do they say? Tell me, yalla.
No.
Drop the Hamza. Move its haraka to the second letter before it. How it becomes? Lard. Right? Al-ard. Al-ard. Clear? This is called نقل حركة الهمزة إلى الساكن قبلها مع حذف الهمزة. Moving the haraka of the Hamza to the second letter before it with dropping the Hamza. Is this clear? So, if you're listening to Warsh narration, he says مِنَ السَّمَاءِ. If we have وَالْأَرْض, how it becomes? Who knows? Why وَالْأَرْض? It becomes وَلَا وَالْأَرْض.
Why it becomes walard? Why it becomes walard? Huh? It becomes walard. Why walard? Because this is what? Hamzat wasl. Hamzat wasl, you drop it whenever you connect it with anything before it. So he says walard. Got it? He says min as-samaa'i walard. Tamam? Let's take the word that we have here. What is the word that we have here? What is it? What's the word? Idwaliya? Ladrasa. Originally, what is this word? How is it pronounced? Huh? How is it pronounced? How is this word pronounced?
Which word? Al-Adras.
Ladras, originally.
Al-Adras.
Al-Adras, huh?
Adras.
Al-Adras. The molars. Al-Adras. What do we do? If we want to move the haraka of the hamza to the sakin before it, what do we do? Huh? Lad. Al-Adrasa, right? Al-Adrasa. Is this clear? If we put any letter before it, then we drop hamzat wasl. It becomes waladrasa. Waladrasa. Now, this word, if you start with it, you can say what? Aladrasa. Aladrasa. But there's another way, which is you drop hamzat wasl. Who knows why you drop hamzat wasl? Because you cannot start with hamzat wasl, right? So what do they say? Ladrasa. Ladrasa. In the Quran we have bi'sa lismul fusuq, right? Bi'sa lismu. This is Hafs narration, right? Hafs narration. So this word, how do we read it? You can say aladrasa or ladrasa. Like some Arabs, they say lahmar, lakhdar. I tell you, for example, he's telling me, you see those, let's say those birds. I say which one? He tells me lahmar, means the red bird, for example. So he says what? Lahmar, lakhdar. Or he can say alahmar, alakhdar, okay? So here, this is why he said ladrasa. Why he said ladrasa instead of al-adrasa? Why? To keep the rhythm of the verse. Okay, for the necessity of the rhythm. But is this correct in the Arabic language? Of course, yes. So he used one of those dialects to match his rhythm. Clear? In Hafs narration, we have this word, ism. What is this hamza? In the word ism. Huh? Wasl. Hamzat wasl. This is one of the 10 nouns in Arabic that start with hamzat wasl. Ism, ibn, ibna, ithnain, ithnatain, imru'un, imra'atun, aymun, ibnum. These are 10 or 12 words in the whole Arabic language that are nouns that start with hamzat wasl. Other than the nouns that start with al. Al is a separate rule. But these are the only 12 or 10 nouns that in the whole Arabic language that start with hamzat wasl. Nouns, not verb. Verb, there are many nouns. Ism. If I start this word, what do I say? Surah Maryam or Al Imran. Inna Allah yubashshiruki bi kalimatin minhu ismuhu. If you start the word ismuhu, what do you say? Say ismuhul, right? If I say masmuk,
Ismi.
ismi
Ibrahim.
Ibrahim. شرفنا. Masmuk, I said Masmuk. What's your name? He said Ismi, huh? Ismi. He starts with kasra. Hamzat wasl in these words starts with kasra. Like Ibn, Ibna, Imru'un, Imra'atun, Ithnain, Ithnatain, Ithnan, Ithnatan. Got it? Now, if we connect it with any word before it or any letter before it, what do? We drop Hamzat wasl. If we're gonna add al, what do we do, guys? How do we read it? Ism means name or noun. If I want to say the name or the noun, what do I say? Al-ism, is that right? No, what do I say? Al-ism. Huh? I just drop this. Al-ism. Al-ismu. Al-ismu. Why I did this? Is not the lam sakina? Isn't the lam sakina? Huh? Sakina. Why it had kasra? Because this lam sakina and this sin is sakina. Two sukoons. And we said many times in Arabic, if we have two consecutive sukoons, what do? We look at the sukoon of the first letter. If it's a mad letter, what do? We drop it. If it's not a mad letter, it's not alif, not waw, not ya, what do? We change that sukoon into kasra in most cases. So, lismu. Or from that principle, also you can say, we move the haraka of the hamza to the previous letter. But this doesn't apply because this hamza is not hamzat qatta, it's hamzat wasl. But it's almost same principle. Okay? So we say al-ism in the section of waqf and ibtida, if you remember, we talked how do you start with some words. Because we explained all of Jazariyya, right? At the end we covered the section on waqf and ibtida, pausing and resumption, how you start some words, how you stop on some words. We explained this. I'm not sure if it's uploaded or not, but we explained this. And we said, if you were testing someone and you want to see how you start this word in Surah بئس الاسم الفسوق بعد الإيمان, Surah Hujurat. What do you say if I tell you read this word for me? بئس الاسم, the word after بئس, how do you read it? How do you read this word? Al-ism. Al-ism. Al-ism or lism. Lism. Okay? You should not do this because it doesn't give a full meaning because it's connected with the word before it. But if you, grammatically, this is how you start it. Al-ism or listen. Now we come back here. Ladrasa. Ladrasa. You understand now why he said ladrasa? This is one of the Arabic dialects. Clear? Okay, if it's not clear, go back and watch the video slowly and ask me if you have questions. If you have a question now, ask. If you don't learn now, you will not learn later. Especially those who are planning to learn the other qira'at, which is something very great and very important. And this is a communal obligation on the Muslims. If none of the Huffaz, none of those who memorize the Quran, none of them cares to learn another narration of the Quran, then who's going to preserve these narrations that are Quran, just like Hafs? Who's going to preserve them? If the Huffaz are not interested, then who will do it? And these narrations, they're not only about like different way of saying it. We explained this many times. They give diversity in meanings. They give richness in the meanings in some verses. So this is one of the narrations of the Quran, and we are commanded to learn the Quran so that it will continue to be preserved, and it will because Allah guaranteed. Right? إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. Surely it's we who revealed this book,
or dhikr or remembrance or Quran, and we will definitely preserve it. But the question is, will you get that honor or not? Will you be among those through whom Allah will preserve the Quran or not? Will you get that great reward or not? That's the question. And if you learned Hafs, it's not difficult. Many narrations, they're very easy. Sometimes in the whole page you find just 2 or 3 words different. So this is an encouragement to you to learn at least to have the intention of learning another narration. And inshallah, I'm planning to explain Al-Shatibiyya, which is in the 7 qira'at, which is only 1,173 verses. We're planning to explain it after Al-Jazariyya, if Allah wills. That covers the 7 qira'at. Then we have Al-Durra, which is almost 300 something. It covers the 3 qira'at. So these two, they cover the 10 qira'at. Then we have Al-Tayyiba, which is about 1,000 verses also. It covers the same 10 qira'at, but with more narrations. These are all the narrations of the Quran. We have the 10 minor ones, 10 major ones. And there are many people, alhamdulillah, they learned all those qira'at and they got certified in them. So, وَالضَّادُ مِنْ حَافَتِهِ. Which hafa? The dad is from the edge of the tongue. Which edge? Which part of the edge? Is it the far edge or the near edge? He said, وَالضَّادُ مِنْ حَافَتِهِ إِذْ وَلِيَ لَضْرَاسَ. إِذْ وَلِيَ لَضْرَاسَ. From the hafa means, إِذْ وَلِيَ means what comes opposite to the ladrasa, means the molars. So what part of the hafa? The part which is what? Opposite to the molars, which is what part? What part of the hafa, what part of the edge of the tongue is opposite to the molars? What part? Show them what part. Did you have your breakfast? Huh? Did you have breakfast? Okay, that's fine. What part of the hafa, what part of the edge of the tongue opposite to the molars? What part? Far edge or near edge? The far part of the edge or the near part? Huh? Far. What part of your edge is opposite to the molars? Is next to the molars? Which one? The far edge, right? Because the near edge is, look here, the near edge of your tongue is opposite to these teeth, right? And what part of the edge is opposite to the big teeth is the far edge. So he's telling you, وَالضَّادَ مِنْ حَافَتِهِ, from the edge of the tongue, إِذْ وَلِيَ لَضْرَاسَ, from the part of the edge which is adjacent to, opposite to what? Opposite to the molars. Got it? That's how the dad is produced. Of course, that's just one part. There are many factors in pronouncing the dad. We're going to explain them. وَالضَّادَ مِنْ حَافَتِهِ إِذْ وَلِيَ لَضْرَاسَ. Clear so far? Please ask me if it's not clear. Clear so far? Where is the dad? How is the dad produced? Where does it come from? What's the main makhraj of the dad?
Tongue.
Which part?
Across from the molars.
But the part of the tongue or the edge of the tongue? So which edge, what did we call it? What did we call that part of the tongue, of the edge, which is opposite to the molars? What do we call it? The far edge. That's it. So the dad is from the far edge of the tongue. That's the main part and the main information in understanding the makhraj of the dad. Now, which far edge? How many far edges do we have? 2. Is it the left one or the right one? He said, وَالضَّادَ مِنْ حَافَتِهِ إِذْ وَلِيَ لَضْرَاسَ مِنْ أَيْسَرَ أَوْ يُمْنَاهَا. He said from the right far edge or from the left far edge. If you are comfortable with producing the Daad by using the left far edge of your tongue, that's great. If you are comfortable to do it from the right far edge, that's great. If you can do them from both, if you can do the Daad from both, that is also correct. I'm going to give you the 3 examples. And in pronunciation, no difference. I say, for example, Da, Da, Da. Anyone can guess which part I'm using? Da, Da. I'm using this part. What about this? Da, Da, Da. Anyone? I'm using both. Da, now, Da, Da, Da. Now I'm using this. Try it. Maybe, and this is very important, maybe with some students, they cannot do it with the right, so tell them to try the left. Some students, they cannot do it with the left, tell them to try the right. Some students, they cannot do with either, tell them to do both. Use both of them. Al, da, 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 da. It's not like some people, they, they make a bubble here. No, it's not like this. No, it's something from inside. You put the pressure inside, either on the right edge or the left edge or on both. Clear? That is in regard with the poetry. والضاد والوسط فجيم الشين يا والضاد من حافته إذ وليا للضراس من أيسر أو يمناها واللام أدناها لمنتهاها واللام أدناها لمنتهى. That's in regard with the lam. But for the ضاد من أيسر أو يمناها. يمناها means what? يمناها means what? It's left. والضاد من حافته إذ ولي لضراس من أيسر أو يمناها. يمناها means it's left, means the left edge. The left edge, particularly the left far edge of the tongue. Okay, now we understood the poetry, right? Now let's go to the details on the Daad. If you just say you produce the Daad by or from the far edge of the tongue, the right one or the left one, and that's it, that will not make people understand how to produce the Daad. Look here first, the poetry, so that you're familiar with it, and let's also practice it. والضاد من حافته إذ وليا. يلا يا أخي. والضاد من حافته إذ وليا لضراس من أيسر أو يمناها. Okay. Now, it's very important to understand all of these points about the Daad. All of these points. Focus with me, please, before we read. So how the Daad is produced? If this is, suppose this is the roof of the mouth. Okay, suppose this is the roof of the mouth. What are these? Suppose this is the upper gum. Starting here with what? What is here? The molars. Suppose it starts from here, the molars, then the incisors and the front teeth. Here, the same thing. Okay? Suppose like this. Suppose these are the teeth. Okay? And this is the tongue. This is the tongue. What will happen? How is the Daad produced? When you produce the Daad, you say al. What are you doing? Practically, you're touching all of the edges of the tongue. What? All of the edges? You just told us the far edge. Wait a minute. Have patience. We use all of the edges of the tongue. All of them, from the far edge to the end of the edge, all of them should touch the upper gum. Like this. I did not say you touch the teeth. You don't touch the teeth. You touch what? The upper gum of all of the upper teeth. Or also, in this case, what are you touching? You're touching the internal part of the teeth. Clear? Right? Huh? Right? When you touch the upper gum, you're also touching the internal part of the teeth, right? Suppose these are the teeth, and this is your tongue. So you're touching the teeth from inside, right? You're not biting on your tongue, no, from inside, and you're touching the roof, the gum. So this is what you do. Then what will happen? When you do this out, if you just touch, that's what will happen. That's what will happen. If you just touch all the edges with all the upper gum. Try this. Out. That's the sound. But that's not the D'aad. What is missing? What is missing is we have to make pressure on the far edges of the tongue. So we're touching all of the upper gum with all of the edges of the tongue. But we're making the pressure where? Here. Look where? Here. On the far edge. This is why we learn the far edge. This is why it's the main part. Why Imam Al-Jazariyya did not explain all this process? He gave you the summary. This is why we're explaining Jazariyya. He gave you the main part. The main part is what? The main part in producing the D'aad is what? Making the pressure where? On the far edges of the tongue. This is why he said, وَالضَّادُ مِنْ حَافَتِهِ إِذْ وَلِيَ الْأَضْرَاسَ مِنْ أَيْسَرَ أَوْ يُمْنَاهَا. So, we're touching all of the upper gum with all of the edge, but making the pressure where? On the far edge. Right or left or both. Tamam so far? Now, who can tell me what happens? Something will happen that happens only with this letter. A sifa, an attribute that happens only to this letter among all of the letters in the world. What is that? When you do this, where the air that is coming from the lungs, where will it go? If, ya Shaykh, all of this area is blocked because we touched all of the upper gum with all of the edges and the air is coming from the lungs, where will the air go? If you say up, where will the air go? It's blocked. And this is why this pressured air, which is between the tongue and what? The tongue and what? The roof of the mouth. This pressure, this imprisoned air, what will it do? It will push the tongue forward a little bit. It will push the tongue a little forward because of that imprisoned air, because of that pressure. It will move it a little bit inward to the front. And that is called istitala. Istitala, meaning making it long, prolongation. That movement is istitala. What is the result of that movement? Is that the D'aad has rakhawa. Means the sound is what? Rakhawa means the sound is flowing. Why it's flowing? Because of this slight movement of the tongue under the pressure of the air imprisoned between the tongue and the roof. And why is that air imprisoned? Because we touched all of the upper gum with all of the edges of the tongue. If you don't do this, no D'aad. So that is the istitala, and the rakhawa is the result of the istitala. And because the tongue is in a shape curved a little bit, that will make the D'aad heavy. So the two main attributes of the D'aad, heaviness and istitala. Without heaviness, no D'aad. Without istitala, no D'aad. Clear? This is how you make it. Al, ضا ضو ضي نض أضى ولا الضا. Any question? Before we move to the mistakes, and you see now every mistake is because you're missing one of these parts in the process of producing the Daad. Any question? Okay, let's read. Yeah. The Daad, look at the screen please. The Daad is produced. Let me show you this picture before you move. Look at this picture please. It's a very nice picture, very important. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward Sheikh Ayman Suwaid and his team who made these amazing pictures. Who can tell me what is this blue area and what is this yellow area? Who can tell me? Who can tell me? What does the blue area represent and what does the yellow area represent?
Foredge, near edge.
Raise your finger and tell me. Yalla guys, I explained, I'm about to lose my voice. Huh? The blue area where you touch, this is the roof of the mouth, right? The blue area is where you touch with your tongue and you do what? You put some pressure. What about the yellow area? What about the yellow area? Only touching. In the yellow area, you only touch the gum. But in the blue, you touch and you make the pressure. If you make the pressure on the yellow area instead, who can tell me what sound you will have? Which is very common, especially among non-Arabs. Very common.
Ta.
No, not ta. You will have da. Da. So when the students are saying da, wala da, what is wrong? Wallahi guys, our main problem in the Muslim world in this field is that teachers themselves, they don't understand how these letters are produced. So they will not know how to fix or to correct themselves or the students. So this is the first step, to understand how the letter is produced, so that when someone is saying da, wala dalin, da, which is wrong of course, what do you say? You tell him? What do you tell him? What do you tell him? What do you tell him? In the Sunday school, when the students read this way, what do you tell them? When he said wala da, what do you tell him?
Don't put pressure on the front part.
Don't put pressure on the front part. So where should I put the pressure?
On the back.
On the back part, on the far edges of your tongue. Tell him, don't say da, make it inside da, make it inside da. You see different da. You see how important? So tell him, put the pressure inside. This letter doesn't exist in Arabic. This is called, what is this? Da. Who can tell me? What is this? Da. What letter is this? What letter?
Dal.
It's a heavy dal. Excellent. It's a heavy dal. Do we have a heavy dal in Arabic? We don't have. That's a heavy dal. Da. It's da. So when you're making da, you're making it heavy. So we don't have that letter. Now, so that blue area, as you can see, is the area where you touch and you rely on that area. Do. You make pressure, you rely on it. While the yellow area is only touching without pressure. And this is how the sound. Look here at these arrows. This is how the air is going. Now, what's going on here with the air? Can you see? Is it blocked or not blocked? Why it's blocked? Why it's trapped here? Why? Because all of the edges of the tongue touching all of the upper gum, as you can see in the picture. So the air is imprisoned here. This pressure, imprisoned air, what will it do? It will move the tongue slightly inward. Now, look at me. If you move the tongue too much, what letter you will have? If you move the tongue too much, and this is why in my explanation I said you move the tongue slightly inward. If you move it too much, where the tongue will reach? Who can tell me? It will reach what? It will reach what? Excellent. It will reach the teeth. It will reach the teeth. It will come out of. Then you would change into another letter, so the tongue should remain behind what?
The front teeth.
Behind the front teeth. Excellent. The tongue should remain behind the front teeth. So once someone said, وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ, This is spread in Syria, and Arab countries. In some villages, some of my relatives, they say dha instead of da. They say dharabni, he hit me. They say instead of dharabni, they say dharabni. Right? And some people, like in Pakistan, some other countries, they say what? Za, Ramadan. And some people they make it like they say Ramazan. Do you know Fayyaz? Are you familiar with this name, Fayyaz? Do you know what is this originally? It's Fayyad. Fayyad. It's changed into Fayyaz, then Fayyaz. Like, did you hear the name Ramazan? Ramazan. What does Ramazan? It's Ramadan. Some people say Ramazan. Some people say Ramadan, da. Some people say Ramazan. Then some people say Ramazan. What is Ramadan? Right? See the change? If Allah did not, subhanahu wa ta'ala, bring us scholars who dedicated their lives to preserve these letters, then many words of the Quran would have changed. My sheikh, one of my sheikhs, I mentioned him in the Ijazah video. His name is Fayyad. May Allah have mercy on him. Fayyad means overflowing. Fayyad, overflowing. Like you say this river is Fayyad with water, means it's overflowing with water. So, if you move the tongue more until it reaches the teeth, that is dha or za. If you move it and you keep it behind, in a certain way it becomes za, which doesn't exist in Arabic, or it exists in some dialects, but not as a variant for the dad. It's a variant for the sad. Ihdina az-zirata. So the sad in Arabic can be pronounced as za. Za. They say this is sad that has the smell of a zai. Az. But this sound, az, can never replace the dad. No letter ever replaces the dad. And we explained Imam Al-Jazariyya in this Jazariyya. What did he do? He made a whole section. Babu tamyiz al-dad min al-dad. The whole section to distinguish between dad and dha. Do you remember? We explained all of those words. So this is how important it is. He made a whole section in his Jazariyya to tell you all the words in the Quran that came with dha, so that you know that the rest of the words come with da. So this problem is not a new problem. Okay, let's read. Yeah. The dad is produced by touching the upper molars. Touching what? The upper molars. Is that right? Means what? To be more precise, you can tell me. The upper molars means from inside, right? From inside. Or, who can tell me? Or what? Touching what? We can say the upper molars means from inside, or what also are you touching? The upper gum. Or the upper gum. Which gum? The upper gum of all what? Teeth. Is this clear? I hope it's not becoming complicated, but this explanation is important because people, when they hear the word gum, what do they think?
Chewing gum.
They think just the front gum, right? But scientifically, all the teeth have gum. They're implanted in a gum, right? So, the dad is produced by touching the upper molars from inside. Or the upper gum of all teeth with the edges of the tongue. Clear so far? While applying pressure on the right, left, or both sides, as we see in the following diagram. Any suggestion to modify this explanation? Is this clear? Does that make it clear? We have one missing thing which is absolutely necessary for the law. What is it? What is it? Say istitala. We're going to mention it now. But this is the main part now. Now we describe the makhraj. But as we said many times, makhraj is not enough. Most of the time, you must explain and know the sifa of the letter with the makhraj. As you can see here, same thing. Same thing. The sound is going, spreading in the mouth. Focus on the rest of the explanation, because with that explanation only, the D'aad is not done yet. Notice that all of the edges of the tongue touch the upper internal gum. I'm using other words. Is that right? All of the edges of the tongue touch the upper internal gum. Also notice that we put the pressure on the part of the roof which is adjacent to the upper molars, the blue area, right? While the other parts of the roof, the yellow area, are only touched by the edges of the tongue without any pressure. That's what we explained, right? Right? In other words, see all this explanation just to make it even clearer and clearer. In other words, the pressure could be applied by using the right far edge, the left one, or both. That pressure you can use to apply it on the upper gum. To use the left far edge, or the right far edge, or both. That's what we explained. But we notice that in all cases, both edges touch the corresponding parts of the roof of the mouth. So if you're making the pressure using the right far edge, does it mean that the left far edge is not touched? No, we already said all the upper gum touched by all edges. But you apply pressure on the right far edge, or the left, or both. If you apply the pressure on the right edge, still all edges are touching, and vice versa. If we put the pressure on the front part of the roof, the yellow area, the result will be a heavy dal. That's what we explained. That's what we explained, right? You had the last class to do it, right? I assigned it to you, right? Yeah, last class. Okay. So did you hear what we said? Did you hear the last note we mentioned? If you apply the pressure on the front, if you apply the pressure using the near edge of the tongue, what is the result? The result is a heavy dal, right? The result is a heavy dal. Yalla. This is another very, very, very nice and clear picture. What is the green color here on the tongue? Brahim, what's the green color? What part of the edge?
The forehead.
Not sorry. Yalla, he saved you. Yalla, akhtar. What is this part of the edge? The green one. And what about the yellow one? The near edge. Look here. What is Ya Isa, the green part here of the roof of the mouth? What is it?
That's the place that you apply pressure.
You apply pressure. You touch and apply pressure. What about this one, Ya Jawad? The yellow one here. You only touch. Only touching, you see? The yellow parts only touching. While the green parts touch and pressure. This is touching this. This is touching this. Here pressure and here. And here pressure. So the yellow part touches the yellow part. The green part touches the green part. All those parts touch all those parts. What's different? What's different? In the green parts, we're applying pressure. That's what makes the D'aad. That's what makes the D'aad. Any question so far? Any question? Okay. Make the D'aad heavy. Pronounce it without any ghunna. You don't say, well, did we ever mention the nasal cavity here? We never mentioned it. So no ghunna. And why people make ghunna? Because the sound is imprisoned and they want to release it, they release it from the nose. No. Fadlu. If you make the istitala, you don't need to release the sound from the nose. So make it heavy, pronounce it without any ghunna. Give it its rakhawa. What does rakhawa mean? The sound is flowing. How? How can the sound flow if the air is blocked there? By what? By what? By istitala, by that slight movement of the tongue under the pressure of the air present between the tongue and the roof. Rakhawa means to let the sound flow. So the sound of the D'aad should not be cut off as some reciters do. They say, Fadlullah, Fadlullah, Fadlullah. They cut the D'aad. They're not applying istitala. That's not D'aad. Fadlullah, walat, no. The sound should flow. Rakhawa means to let the sound flow. So the sound of the D'aad should not be cut off as some reciters do. This is why it's wrong to give it qalqala, because it is needless. Same. One mistake leads to the other. One mistake leads to the other. Why some people say fadl, fadlu, fadl, fadl. What is this? Qalqala. Do we need qalqala for the D'aad? No. Why not? Because it's already flowing, the sound already flowing. When do we apply qalqala? Only to the which letters? Shadid letters. Ajid, qatim, bakar. Because in shadid letters the sound is cut off. So we need to bounce it so that it can be heard. But the D'aad, the sound already flowing out. So qalqala is needless. But then why people make qalqala? Because they cannot let it flow. Because they don't know how to let the D'aad flow. Then they bounce it. They say fadlu, fadlu, mim maradu, which is easier if you don't learn it, yes, but it is absolutely wrong. Istitala is the slight movement of the tongue. We mentioned this many times. Istitala is the slight movement of the tongue under the pressure of the air that's present between the tongue and the roof of the mouth. We said this many times, right? This slight movement will make the tip of the tongue reach the origin of the upper front teeth, right, Ya Shaykh Ibrahim? It reaches what? The tip of the tongue reaches what? The origin of the upper front teeth, not any further. Look, I put it in red color, because if you move it any further, what will happen? What will happen? What letter? We have Dha. Not any further. The result of istitala is rakhawa, means the flowing of the sound of the D'aad. Important note, if you let the tip of the tongue move further to reach the tips of the upper front teeth, the central incisors, the result will be Dha instead of D'aad, as many people do. I think, inshallah, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessings, this is a detailed and full explanation of this most important letter in the Arabic language. Let's use just 5 words before we go. Dha, Dha. Try now to apply all the process we explained. Dha, Du, Di, Yad, Fadlu, Fadlullah, Min as-samai wal-ard, فَمَنِ اضْطُرَّ. We're going to mention all of these words. We're going to spend really good time on them because many people make mistakes in these. فَمَنِ see? فَمَنِ You see, you hear how it's flowing? فَمَنِ اضْطُرَّ يَقْبِضُ وَيَبْسُطُ غَيْرِ المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. ولا الضالين. آمين. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين. Any question? Any question about anything we mentioned today? Huh? Clear? Is it clear? Clear? You need to understand it step by step to do all of these parts, to pay attention to all of those common mistakes so that you have the right D'aad with exercise and practice with the shaykh. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد.